Safety, and it's all about getting the car where it needs to be. Got a bit of attention from the boys. You know how it is. Oh. So guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Now in today's video I'm literally going to go over the GTR because I've had the car for a year. It's been the best experience of my life, and I just think it's fair that I tell you guys how I feel in terms of performance, affordability, depreciation, and just the car overall. So what we're going to do now is jump into the car and we're going to go out on the road for a drive. On that drive I'm going to talk to you a bit about what the car's been like, show you what it sounds like now that we've got that exhaust in. We've had that for a year, and yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because we've got amazing content coming. And if you are still supporting, love for the support, and make sure you subscribe, share and like the page. Let's go for a drive. Exactly what it's like when I'm in gear one, when I'm flying. It's a fun with a kid. Slightly icy here, so we have to be a bit careful. Gotta make sure we can stop in time. One thing I must say is I'm still running those tyres, and they're probably not the best. The Toyos, the Michelin Pilot Super Sports are on the way. But they need to come much quicker because the thing is, this car is so quick. As you saw just there, in a short distance we were splurging and we were hitting some serious speeds, and for me it's all about that is us driving in that's us driving just in normal manual mode. Once we go into race, then you really get to see what that power is like on this car. I'd say it's definitely impressive, because it just puts it down. It's just so thrilling. Oh, shit. I can't get enough of this car. When it pulls, it's just... excites me. It just really excites me. The thing is, when you're giving it some, it's just obviously people look. What can I say? It's just one of those things. They don't want to look, but they look, and they're just like, hey, fair play, because that sounds like a fucking beast. Pardon my French. Just such a car, man. Such a car. S3, they've got to look. They've got to make sure they look. Spot plotted to do the plotted to do the filming. That obviously hasn't paid off. So go to that airfield strip. These tyres are sketchy because in manual they don't grip, you get plenty of wheel spin and the traction light goes off. So they are definitely very unusual. That's in my opinion. So in terms of affordability on the GTR, I must say that, to be honest with you, in regards to fuel, in regards to just the setup of the vehicle, it's pretty much all bang on. For me, it's not cost significantly loads, but it's pretty much done everything it needs to do. So from a fuel perspective, I've done plenty of road trips up to London. I've been up north, down to the Lake District, and it's not been expensive in comparison to the Audi S4 of mine. I tell you what, the S4 is worse on fuel than this. The GTR, if you start to thrash it around, it tends to eat a bit more fuel, which you can expect because the car is built the way the car is. However, if you're to relax and just cruise your way along, this car does not take a lot of fuel, believe it or not. Now that's one reason why I love the GTR, because for example, in comparison to, let's say, a car that I've driven that has similar power, the F80 M3, that's got, I've driven my brother-in-law's M3 and that's got a 550 brake, so it's almost pound for pound with us. So essentially, looking at it from a power perspective, M3 takes more fuel than this, which is very, very good, because the GTR essentially has the slightly smaller block of engine, because it's a 3.8 in comparison to the bigger blocks. It's not a 4 litre, it's not 5 litre, it's just a 3.8 litre, and it's obviously twin turbo. Now the other thing is the tyres. They are expensive, yes. The only reason I haven't decided to change them is because I want to create content for you guys. I don't see the point in having a brand new set of Toyos and just getting them off straight away. I just thought, let's have these on here, let's test them out, let's run them for a year, see what they do. We've clarified that they're very poor in the wet, they're poor in the summer, they're just poor all around. They just don't feel sturdy, and as a driver you can't give it that full hammer and then slow the car down, because the tyres just let you down. You get slide, you get slip. I've been on the motorway before, and I've been travelling down to London, and it's wet. I'd say there's a fair bit of rain, but it's more so in that rain you'd expect to put your foot down in the GTR and get that beautiful power delivery. However, I've done that and it's like the car's been sliding and slipping all over the place, and I'm like, oh my god. So for me, it's like, you shouldn't be doing that, and I know that the Pilot Super Sports will fix that. So obviously, if you're not following the channel, make sure you subscribe and follow the channel, because the GTR is a car that's here to stay. And we will be working on handling, we'll be working on the brakes, the tyres, everything else, just to get this car up to standard, because I don't want to be on the track and be sort of scared to give it its max, because I'm worried as to whether it might just sort of go off the road, because that's the last thing we want to do. We'll be insured and everything else, but I just don't want the car to just fall off. So yeah, just make sure you subscribe. And this car just is, the thing is, I feel so good inside when I drive this car. That's the best description for it. And I just think everybody that doesn't have one needs to feel how I feel if they do get a chance to drive one, or even just by watching these videos. I want you to know exactly how I'm feeling when I'm in the car, and just from the perspective of how I find it and how enjoyable the car is to drive, because it is an amazing experience. We're in the controls, we're just cruising. I mean, in terms of the exhaust as well, having had the exhaust for a year, also on par, it's settled in nicely. You don't get much drone. However, the car has got much louder. When you're on the motorway, you do give it full throttle, it then just basically gets louder and louder and louder, and you're like, oh my god. So I have to have the music playing, because if I don't have the music on, you can just hear every single thing in regards to the noise from the exhaust. So that's a big thing, that's a big factor for me. But otherwise, yeah, the car's been amazing, and we've not had any issues, obviously, apart from the fact that there's a few things we've had to do just to kind of sort the car out. But nevertheless, part of the parcel, these things that come with the car, and that's just something that's with it. Yeah, comes in. And we're back online. Showed you a bit of POV there, show you a bit of what it's like just from the driver's perspective. Playing games. We're not even playing games. Playing games, ladies and gentlemen. The thing with this car that I love the most is just drop back a bit. Stuff G-forces. Yeah, gear one. Oh shit. The thing is, everyone has to look at this as the best thing about it. This is what I mean by this car never fails to put a smile on my face. I can just rip it around, and the thing is, the exhaust just sounds so good that, what can you say? You can't even fault the car. This is the thing, you cannot fault this car. Because it sounds so good, it almost comes to the point where, what is bad about this car? There is nothing bad about the car. That's my experience anyway. So, got a bit of traction slip there. Just was not holding the ground, because there's so much power coming through at one given time. It almost becomes a difficulty, should we say. See what it sounds like as we go through these roads. to say about this car. Just love what it does, what it has to do. That, believe me or not, is exciting. Camera's right there. Got some uneven traction there. Plenty of noise. Just so much fun. This car is just so much fun. I've been struggling to talk while I've been filming because this car just never fails. Never fails. It's one of those things that just ticks the boxes for me. This is the thing about this car, it ticks the boxes. A lot of the cars you get plenty of enjoyment, but you just don't get what you're expecting, and I think the GTR just does it. A year on, my excitement is still the same and nothing has changed, believe it or not. So I must say that this has to be one of the best cars I will own or have. So, bless me, that I've owned. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's the best description for it.